Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons, back with a concept for you here, which can really help make your playing sing, adding vibrato to bends. In this quick guitar tricks, we're looking at some tips for adding vibrato to your bends. Okay, if you've done this before and it sounded a bit like a whale serenading a cat in heat as a voyeur seagull gazes on, squawking in excitement, you're not alone. I certainly put off trying this for years because it took quite a while to get to grips with. It's still a bit of a work in progress if I'm being totally honest. Everyone has a different way of fretting the neck, holding the guitar, so you might need to adjust this to spec to suit yourself, but with that in mind, by the end of this you should be able to add vibrato to your bends, or at least have the tools to be able to tackle the job. Timestamps and chapters for each tip below, let's just crack on, eh? Tip number 1, don't double dip. What I mean by this is don't hold the bend to pitch, dip it down and return to pitch as a standard form of vibrato. Now, before the keyboard warriors come at me in full force here, if you want to try it this way, what you do is bend up to the target pitch. I'm doing a tone here from the 12th fret on the G string. Dip the note a little bit, rebend it, and then repeat this, while making sure the amount you dip by is consistent and always returning to that correct pitch. So bend, dip, a little bit, return to pitch, repeat. Now without speaking. If your pitching isn't fairly reliable, then you're going to get that aforementioned cat, whale, seagull thing. The old... Which, I'm not going to lie, in the right context, this thing can sound pretty cool. I mean, this dip vibrato is a totally legitimate technique. I don't want to undermine it here, especially if you want to be in time with the beat. But if you want that kind of smoother sound, in my experience, this isn't going to deliver the goods. This method tends to be pretty common in rock and metal, maybe not so much in blues. While I still use it, I am sort of slowly phasing out of being my go-to method. Tip 2. One step beyond. So what I'd suggest instead is bend to pitch, hold that bend, then push the note up a tiny bit, then return it to that bent position to get the vibrato. So again, I'm bending up to pitch. I'm retaining that pitch rather than dipping it down and kind of pushing the note up a little bit from here, returning it to the bent position. Once more, without speaking. If we compare those two back to back, hopefully you can hear this version is a bit sweeter or smoother sounding. So here's the first one with the dip. And the second version we've looked at. Now, I think there are two factors at play here. The first being that when you dip down, it's almost like a precursor to the vibrato. There's like this hesitation before it comes in. The other is that I suspect this latter technique has more wiggle room in terms of pitch deviation going above and below the target pitch. So it sounds a little bit more vocal. That's more of a theory than anything else though. As a side note, if you are getting something from this, please consider leaving a comment and a like. Both are huge helps to the channel. But also, wild and crazy option, you could try some Phil X style alternate vibrato. More on that with the little I card up there. Tip 3. Reinforcements. Reinforce the bend with other fingers. It shares the load so it's not all one finger that has to make that note sing. Like if we just do a little experiment here, I'll use my first finger, this is going to be a disaster, to try and bend a tone and add a vibrato, right? Okay, this isn't too bad, but it does not feel good. If I use my third finger and hold the string down with my first and second fingers behind it. I don't know how different it sounds to you, but to me the second one certainly feels an awful lot easier. Tip 4. Pull it down. If you can, pull the string down. Now this isn't really feasible on the high E where we're just going to come off the fretboard, aren't we? For the B string you can maybe get a semitone. Depending what comes after the G string, it might not be ideal either. If it's like this rock lick. If you tried to pull the string down for that bend, it's making life way harder than it needs to be. If you want more information on those kind of rock cliches, check the eye up there. But yeah, this pulling down just gives you way more control than pushing the string up. Now, the mechanics of physically doing this lead us quite nicely to the next idea. Tip 5. Forearm versus wrist versus fingers. So when I pull the string down, I seem to use my fingers a bit more than anything else. You can probably see it a bit more from this angle. So obviously there's a bit of forearm action, a bit of wrist, but you can probably see my fingers here are kind of moving up and down, just in this, and they're doing most of the heavy lifting. So you can also do other things. You can kind of rotate your forearm like this. So if I apply that to a bend, as you can hear, I'm not as comfortable doing that one as with the fingers for a downward bend. And from here, so that's all I'm doing, holding the bend and then doing this to get the vibrato. And if I do those back to back, here's my fingers first, followed by that forearm thing. So hopefully you can see in the first one, it's my fingers are kind of pushing up and wiggling against the string. And the second one, they're pretty much stationary against it, with my forearm acting as the rotating point. Now both of these can be applied to pushing the string upwards as well. So fingers, and that kind of forearm rotation thing as well. As a side note, if you're finding you're getting kind of slop or unwanted string noise, check out the muting tips with the little eye up there. So like I say, the fingers, wrist and forearm are all playing a part here. It just depends which one you feel more comfortable with taking a more significant role. Now you can also hold the note and then just move the guitar. Just shake it about. So that brings in a pretty unpredictable element, but it is worth a pop. The wild and crazy option again is to manipulate the string from behind the fretting hand. So this is a more flash thing to do, but way less practical. Having said this, there are some other cool things you can do with this trick, like in the little eye up there. Tip 6, thumb's the word. Nope, fair enough. So you might have noticed I tend to bend with my thumb over the top of the neck here. So I try it out this way I've got with my thumb all the way over. Try it with your thumb just kind of holding the other side of the neck. Around the back of the neck here. See, I'm not as good at that, and even floating off, this is going to be worse again for me. See, I can just about do that, but that does not feel comfortable. Like this, I've got more grip, I've got more strength. But these are all variations that are really worthwhile trying out. Tip 7, just the tip. So if you're familiar with how I'm renovating my legato using Tom Quayle's method as a model, more than that of the eye up there, this is pretty much the same thing. This is how much of the tip of your finger you use compared to the pad. It's just a significant factor, so not enough, and it'll be quite hard to add any vibrato without the string just kind of slipping away from under your fingers. If you use too much as well, it feels like you don't have any sort of grip, and again the string can slip away. Having said that, I would try and recommend using as much of the tip of your finger as you can. If you try this for a few minutes using more of the pad versus a little bit more of the tip, you'll probably feel and hear why I would recommend this. Tip 8. Start slow. Rather than trying to run before you can walk, bend the note to pitch and then bring in slow, smooth and controlled vibrato. This will let you build muscle memory for the more wild stuff. Tip 9. Go wild. Zach Wylde. Alright, if you want that wide vibrato synonymous with Mr. Wylde, at some point you have to just go for it and sort of run before you can walk, to contradict myself, and trust the muscle memory is there and just go for it. So if you're still with me and haven't yet subscribed, you might as well give that a click and do the notification thing. If you're already on, shout out to the Lick Squad Elite, you guys rock. So in all fairness, what I'm doing there is probably seeing this as more of a series of wide bends. Muted myself out there. Probably a series of bends rather than vibrato, but I'm definitely using the muscle memory that I've built from having done this vibrato. Tip 10. This is all the boring practical stuff, but it is well worthwhile knowing and thinking about. Less string tension will let you do this stuff, these vibratos, with way less effort, but there's also more room for error in that smaller moves or inconsistencies have much more of an impact. More string tension is equal to more physical effort to sustain a bend and add vibrato. It's a case of finding the best of both worlds or your personal sweet spot. The most obvious ways in which you can change string tension are with a different gauge of strings, so a thinner or finer gauge is going to be easier to bend, a thicker gauge is going to be harder. Downtuning, which will slacken the strings, making the bends easier, you have to exert less force. Changing the spring configuration in the back of your guitar if you've got a tremolo. Or you could adjust the truss rod. Now, if you're not comfortable doing this stuff, then don't. But most of us have at some point probably already experimented with these setup tweaks. If you got something from this, you'll probably also appreciate these warm-up tips. This has been Quick Guitar Tricks, that's the playlist there. But yeah, hit subscribe to keep up to date with the channel, leave me a comment, check my tabs on Patreon, and enable all notifications by ringing that little bell on the side if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys.